they go in and they pick who's going to place where in the conference. After that Friday, after the day it's announced, nobody ever remembers what happens to that thing, do they?
Fred, you're 1,000% correct. We both have done this for a while, and what people think of us or you as a competitor athlete really doesn't mean anything. You've got to go out and play the game.
You've got, let's start with your schedule. A little wacky schedule this year. You guys play 7 road games. You're going to be road warriors.
Absolutely, and it's unfortunate. We had a fairly balanced schedule with 5 home and 6 away, and Missouri Baptist backed out of a contract which was a home game last spring, and at that date it was very difficult to fill. We're fortunate to fill it with a national caliber football team in Wayne State up in Detroit, Michigan. Now the GLIAC will probably be a preseason pick to win it or be a number 2 type club. So, but the bad news is we've got 1,700 miles and 2 tough ball games to start the season, 7 away games, 4 home. Our guys will definitely get tested.
Let's start maybe with, I think, could be the strength of your football team, the offensive line.
Yeah, and that's you see a little bit of a grin. That's a good place to start. It's like, if you're a Cardinal baseball fan or a baseball fan, they build it inside, with pitching, with catching, shortstop, second, center field, and with a football team. You really go inside out with your offensive and defensive interiors, and we feel pretty good, Fred, about both sides of the football up front, because that's where it starts and oftentimes stops in the sport of football.
And on that line, got a lot of guys who've played a lot of games, and they've played as a unit, and that's key.
Absolutely, and I'll zip some at the, I'm wiping off the rust at this time of year, and I hope I don't forget a young man, but when you look at Brad Wellman from Quincy Notre Dame, who was first team all-conference, Ethan Decker from just down the road at South Shelby, Matt Kasinger, Brad Harden, Charlie Bryanak, young Colby Dorman, all these guys have started at least 6 games in their college career, and they're going to get pushed by a couple of younger players, so it's a real position of strength for us.
And let's go to, since you talked about that, your defensive line, talk about that a little bit.
Well, you're going to end up, but we haven't elected captains yet, but certainly Nick Reichert, who was a captain a year ago, will probably end up being a 2-time captain. He's an all-conference caliber football player. He's had a great career from just down the road at Quincy Notre Dame, high school teammate of Brad Wellman. So he's going to be very, very good. And then Devin Gillespie, a defensive end from Hazelwood Central, who's essentially a 3-year starter for us. I think he had 14.5 tackles for losses and 5.5 sacks a year ago, and he's just a steady performer. Great teammates and great leaders out of both those kids. So our defensive front it should be solid as well.
Speaking about solid, Zoda's back in the backfield, in the defensive backfield, but you're going to have to get some other guys to help out.
We are. Austin Zoda is just he's been as good a safety as we've coached, and we had a 3-time first-team All-League player when we were at Central Missouri State. I'm saying we and Kellen Nesbitt and I and Kendall Ricketts, and Austin is arguably in the same breath. He's a coach on the field. Good place to start. Corner T.J. Fine is basically going to end up being a 3- or 4-year starter for us. Is a good, solid corner, and then we're going to have J.D. Hurd and DeAnthony Knight, some other young people step up, particularly at the corner position. Safety, we feel pretty good about.
You're going to have to find some linebackers.
We are, but the good news is we think we have them. Matt Guion, who started in Connor Nagel's stead when Connor was injured last year for 2 or 3 ball games and played a significant amount of snaps, should be ready to step in and provide leadership and solid play. And then Ben Wellman from the great state of Iowa, just north of us, played as a true freshman last year, and we think we've got a real steal. We think that he's in the same boat as Matt Bell and Connor Nagel, who played a lot of snaps for us over the last 4 years.
Let's go back to offense a little bit. Devontae Black, a quarterback, keeping it healthy is important, isn't it?
It's key. Last year, Devontae, in his first year as a starter, I think he completed about 62% of his balls. He only threw the ball the other team 3 times, which was a school record. It was the lowest in our school's history. He was 2nd in the country in interceptions, which is a really good stat for us. So he valued the football, took care of it. He's had a really great offseason in terms of he's probably about 10 pounds heavier as we speak to prevent injury and to be a little more durable than what he's been the last 2 years. But he's a real key for us, no question.
And his decision-making is key with that offense, and talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, it's not just with him, but at that position, because it's all about decision making. And certainly we feel blessed to have an incumbent. And when you have some meaningful game reps, some experience, it speeds up that decision-making process, hopefully for the better. So that's always a work in progress. And we feel really blessed at that position with Zach Tobin and Randy Schroeder. Randy in particular, before a little setback with a shoulder ailment in spring, for what we're doing offensively, his decision-making process was very impressive in the accuracy. So that's we should be solid at the quarterback position.
Okay, one area, maybe not question marks, but one area that people are going to have to step up, that's a running back.
Absolutely. And we're, to replace a running back of Garrett White's stature, his ability, his toughness, his durability, his availability, his consistency, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, he's fifth all time in a school that's really known for running backs, so it's there's steeped in tradition at that position, and he had 2,600 yards and a whole bunch of touchdowns, had great speed, breakaway speed, and the big thing was, once again, he was available every single week. And A.J. Hartfield from Fort Worth, Texas, certainly will have to step up, and Adam Yancey, Jesse Jenkins, maybe some rookies that come in, so it could be by committee or until somebody gets hot and really proves themselves at that position.
And these running backs, too, that we're talking about, they're not as big as he was. We're looking a little more, step back, a little more quicker, quicker back. But like you said, somebody's just going to have to step up.
Correct, and Garrett was a thinner back and a smaller back when he got here, and a speed guy that really developed his body. AJ's not the same kid. We redshirted him a year ago after he'd played for 2 years, and he's a little thicker, not a tall back, but a thicker back, and hopefully can be durable for us.
Wide receivers and tight ends, going to have to get some new blood in there too?
We're really excited at wide receiver. Joey Schenk really came on strong and was arguably our best receiver of the last half of last year. Big play receiver, a big receiver at 6'5", a real threat in the red zone or scoring zone. Brass Woods, who we also redshirted, another 6'4", 6'5" guy that was a 21-4 200-meter guy and a 48 flat 400-meter guy in the state of Texas. So he's got some speed to go with Felix Nebo and Derek Hammond, and Felix is another guy that he's a 10-6 electronic 100-meter guy out of Permian, Texas. And Derek Hammond from Dyersville, Iowa, a transfer from Iowa State, really started to come on down the stretch. So we're expecting big things out of that crew.
Special teams. Third of the game, you lose a great punter, but you return a great kick returner, and that helped you last year and it should help you this year.
Well, from a positive, we returned Roger Howard, a place kicker, and once we settled after the first 2 weeks on Roger and a little kicking competition in games, I think he was 8 for 11 in field goals, so he's proven himself very capable. Really came on strong with kickoffs, which helped our kickoff coverage, which led the league again. Derek Hammond, you're talking about, as a kickoff returner, led the league in kickoff returns and shouldn't do anything but get better, and he'll also be our punt returner. The negative is we've lost our own Jacob Lamp, Kirksville player that was a fabulous athlete and one of the better punters in the country, and became our career punt record holder this past season, breaking a record set in the late 70s. So it was a big-time record. So we've got some work to do at that position.
How important is it that you have your staff together and it's been together for a long time? How important is that?
It's huge. Absolutely huge. I mean, one, just in the area of recruiting and relationships with you as a high school coach. We kind of know each other in the evaluation stage, and they know the high school coaches, so that's been a really key. We've hit, Fred, in recruiting the last 4 recruiting classes, we've hit 7 out of 10 or 70% of the kids that have actually come on an official visit we've signed. And that speaks volumes of the staff and their ability to connect with the high school kids, the high school coaches, and the parents in that process. And then the football aspect, we're going to start full staffs next Monday, and it's, we're much farther along, right or wrong. We kind of know what we're doing, and it doesn't take us quite as long to get organized. And the other hidden factor with that staff is game day adjustments. And that's where you really separate yourselves in this profession, your ability to adjust. You've got a game plan that doesn't always work, and that should begin to be a strength now for this staff.
And plus, you know where you're going to go. You've done this before, and you have an idea. You know, somebody says, let's try, and you go, yeah, we've done that before. We know it's worked.
Absolutely. And, you know, for me, this will be my 36 years, so I've had some success with some stuff. I've gotten beaten with some stuff through the years, so a lot of times you've been there and done that, but not always your young coaches, and now we're moving more into that experienced realm overall as a staff.
Lost a couple of games at home last year. I know you didn't like it. You only have 4 home games this year, 4 conference games. You're going to have to win all those 4 at home in order to really be in this conference race, aren't you?
Absolutely, and you know, it's been a sour taste. You know, I'm a workout guy, and those things gnaw me every day on a treadmill or the bike when you walk by, and I'm down there exercising. At this stage, the wins I don't remember near as much as those losses, and 2 really tough home losses in William Jewell last year in Indianapolis, where we squandered 14-point leads in the second half, one of them in the fourth quarter, which is really abnormal. We've done a good job at home. We like playing here. We've had great fans and overall good fan support. So we were really disappointed when we let you down. So hopefully, for us to have a chance in the GLVC, we've got to win at Stokes.